Guys, I haven't done a proper just chatting kind of live stream in here for ages. So I have time today, so I'm going to do that. I've been finding really, really interesting TED Talks in the last 24 hours. And I love a good TED Talk. I've applied twice. I've been declined twice. But I'll get there eventually. I will get there eventually. But I found a brilliant girl today. Her name is Susan David. She is a psychologist and she works out of Harvard and she has a PhD. Okay, so her TED Talk was all about emotional resilience. Okay, now I discuss this a lot in my one-to-ones with people, and I specifically mention this when I'm teaching the empowerment program in secondary schools. Okay, so what Susan was saying was this: is that there's no such thing as a good or a bad emotion, and I would 100% agree with Susan, because as I always say, there's just emotion. None of them are good and none of them are bad. And if we label them, then we are subjecting ourselves to feel a particular way about how we are feeling. And we start judging ourselves, okay? So in my humble opinion, there's only ever two emotions. There's only ever love and fear. So all of the good emotions fall under love and all of the bad emotions fall under fear. But you can't have love without fear, and you can't have fear without love. And Charlie keeps saying to me, everybody wants happiness, nobody wants pain, but you can't have a rainbow without a little rain. And I think that's brilliant, that it's the two polar opposites of the emotions, that they're interdependent, they have to have each other, okay? So I hear people saying to me all the time in one-to-ones, I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling this way, I don't want to feel this way anymore. And as I keep saying to them, each emotion is equally as important as the last one, okay? And whether you're feeling good or whether you're feeling bad, it doesn't make one more important than the other. You have no business in just deciding that you're going to have bespoke emotions of all just the good stuff, okay? We have no business in doing that. We've no business in doing it to ourselves, and we have no business in teaching the young people of this world that that's how we behave, because it's untrue, okay? If you don't give your attention to the negative emotions, those negative and find out why it is that you're feeling that way and work through it, that emotion is not going anywhere. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Your gut is going to go crazy. You're probably going to feel anxiousness. That's going to be mixed in with a bit of chest pain. You know where I'm going with this. It's just going to keep spiraling out of control, okay? And another thing that we do is say things like, oh, big boys don't cry. All the big boys I know cry. All the big strong men that I know cry, okay? They allow themselves to feel the spectrum of their emotions, not just specifically the good ones, okay? Another thing that we do with kids is with ourselves, we try and bury it, okay? Or we might numb it in some way from the outside in this, like the titanium plate coming back into play here again. But something that we do with kids is, if they physically hurt themselves and fall, or if they're emotionally upset by somebody who's upset them in school, or if they've fallen out with their siblings, or we give out to them, sometimes we try and paste it over really quick by, giving them things, or giving them food, or giving them an experience, or promising them something in the future. No, stop that. Let them feel the emotion and the pain of what it is that they're going through, okay? Because there's a huge buzzword going around at the moment, and all the schools are speaking to me about this, and it's about resilience, okay? If we do not teach our children how to deal with the negative or bad emotions, how are they going to deal with this as adults, okay? So, life still is going to go on, and things are going to happen, and bad things are going to happen. For example, there's two members of my family who are very ill at the moment, and they're both in hospital. There's somebody else who is extremely ill. So there's three people. And each time, that this moves on or there's more news, we sit the kids down and we explain to them in their terms what's happening. I'm not going to tell them that these 3 family members are not in hospital. And then, you know, God forbid, in a couple of weeks' time, we have to give them terrible news from 0 to the worst case scenario, okay? I need to be able to teach my kids resilience, to be able to accept some of the negative things that happen in our lives and learn how to bounce back from them. Because there's a serious amount of teenagers in this country that if something bad happens or a crisis happens, they don't have the tools in their toolbox in here to be able to deal and handle the situation with resilience and how to bounce back, okay? So please stop doing it to yourself, not allowing yourself feel the negative emotions, because they're all as equally as important as each other, okay? And if you feel like you want to have a cry, have a cry. Have a cry. People, when they come to one-to-ones for me, you know, apologise if they cry. I always have a packet of tissues behind them. And I go through quite a few. I go through quite a few boxes of tissues. But, you know, they say, oh, I'm sorry that I'm crying. First of all, there's no apologies with me. You never apologise for crying or never apologise for anything when you're in front of me. It is what it is. We're dealing with it, okay? And they say, oh, I'm sorry I'm crying. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional. No, get it out. There's 42 toxins in each of those tears. And if you're holding them in, they're going back in and they're doing more damage on the inside. Do you hear that, dog? So all of these, laughing is equally as important as crying, okay? You're getting the picture, lads. Check out that girl, Susan David. I'll actually put her TED Talk in underneath this because she talks a lot of sense and she's right up my street. I really, really like her. And I'm going to be following her journey more closely because today was the first day that I discovered her. So listen, guys, if you want to open up the discussion about that, how we handle situations, negative and positive emotions as adults and with children, please pop your comments in underneath because I'd love to hear from you. Let's get this conversation going. Take it easy. Have a great day. Slán.